DOULUO DALU Chapter 21, Evil Fire Phoenix. Part 1. Shrek 7 Devils will finally appear on stage. Perhaps everyone will to some extent not understand their circumstances. But in fact, in ancient China, men at 12 years old would very often visit prostitutes. Especially young men from rich households. This is DOULUO DALU, everyone like this certain person develops comparatively early. Hey, tomorrow's update he formally enters the stage 1. AA1 4th A. 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 Early morning. Tang San very early was already up. Every day cultivating purple demon eye already became a matter he must do. And this morning particularly he still had several important matters he must quickly see to. Leaving his and Oscar's dorm, outside the day still had not brightened. In the course of one night's rest, Tang San's internal strength had already recovered. In accordance with Oscar's directions, he quickly reached that open space where Zhao Wuji held his examination yesterday, tidying up his hidden weapons. These hidden weapons were not easy to create, and he could not lightly discard them. Especially that tense back flower adornment crossbow's bolt and powder shooting shadows poisons manufacture was even more painstaking. Time consumption was not short. Fortunately, the hidden weapons used yesterday were basically all there. Relying on Purple Demon Eye's acute vision, he very quickly found these hidden weapons one by one, returning them to their proper places. Over several years in Yuding City, Tang San since long ago would amply arm himself, and when yesterday fighting Zhao Wuji, was the first time he fully put to use his whole strength using hidden weapons. Right now, while collecting hidden weapons, Tang San meanwhile reflected on the gains and losses in this fight yesterday. Zhao Wuji's defensive power indeed was too astonishing. Fortunately his speed was not fast, also did not use his full power, otherwise he basically at once would have had no chance. Dealing with such a power, how should he go about it? If hereafter again confronting this kind of enemy, what method could he use to gain victory? All kinds of thoughts continuously flashed through Tang San's mind. He understood, his hidden weapons cultivation still was insufficiently pure, these could not be progressed in 1 or 2 days. In Mysterious Heaven Treasure Records Hidden Weapon 100 Separation, the very top-ranked hidden weapons practically all required formidable internal strength support. If wanting to handle powers on levels like this Zhao Wuji, then with his current level of strength, he only had one way, making powerful mechanism-type hidden weapons. For example, Tang Sek's 3 greatest most terrifying mechanical-type hidden weapons, Buddha Fury Tang Lotus, Torrential Pear Blossom and Peacock Plume. However, these 3 kinds of hidden weapons manufacturing was actually too challenging, any one type dealing with materials requirements that were all harsh to the extreme. In his current circumstances, they were basically impossible to make. And also, these 3 kinds of hidden weapons, although Tang San had manufactured them all before, having not a little experience. But letting him again manufacture, any one type required consuming at least 1 year's time. This was still assuming the materials were found without a hitch. With a disappointed sigh, Tang San helplessly shook his head. To his current circumstances, making these 3 kinds of hidden weapons equally was not realistic. Apparently, only could work hard at cultivation, striving to gradually promote the strength of the hidden weapons. Simultaneously, he also must better his equipment even more. Looking for an opportunity, first allocating some poison again. Only having Datura snake venom was too singular. After gathering his hidden weapons, Tang San jumped up on a rooftop, to the east gradually appeared purple chi cultivation. Pressure equally was a driving force. Going through that battle yesterday, he already faintly had the feeling his spirit power had broken through the 29th rank to enter the 30th rank. If only he was able to enter the 30th rank, over a certain period of time cultivating 30th rank spirit power to its peak, at once he could go hunt his third spirit beast, adding one spirit ring. At that time, his actual strength also would have a qualitative leap. As the sun rose, Tang-san returned to the dorm. Currently, Oscar still hugged his quilt sound asleep. In early morning Tang-san had woken him to ask about yesterday's exam place. He only still sleeping drooled. "Little Ao, wake up." Tang-san pushed Oscar. "Wah, let me sleep a moment," Oscar said in his sleep. Tang-san frowned, saying, "Quickly come. It's already not early. Don't you know a day is measured from morning?" Oscar somewhat helplessly opened his eyes, looking at Tang-san. "Me and you cannot be alike, you are battle spirit masters. I am a tool spirit master, an even food system. I don't need your kind of troublesome cultivation. T.A.G, I'll trouble you not to disturb me, let me sleep a moment," Tang-san helplessly said. "Then you first tell me what place Xiaowu stays at, I want to go see she's well," Oscar said. "You leave our dorm to the left, roughly 30 meters, that side has a wooden house, it's where Xiaowu and Ning Rongrong stay. Only, I must remind you. The academy has clear-cut rules, male students cannot casually disturb the female students. Otherwise, the school rules can be very severe. Our Shrek Academy in this village occupies 1/3 of the area, the other side is for the villagers to live. Ordinarily as much as possible don't go over there." Shrek Academy indeed did not have any money, the entire academy rented 1/3 of this village's area simply to exist. The so-called school buildings were all previously the villagers' wooden houses, that's all. Fortunately Suotuo City was comparatively near, so shopping could be considered comparatively convenient. Tang-san again left the dorm. Right now he was already somewhat hungry, but compared to Xiaowu, this issue naturally must be placed second to resolve. Very quickly, Tang-san reached Xiaowu and Ning Rongrong's dorm, but directly entering? If it only was Xiaowu it would not matter, the two had lived in the same dorm for such a long time, both were siblings, but having an additional girl was somewhat inconvenient. Tang-san hesitated a moment, still without entering, outside softly called, "Xiaowu, Xiaowu." Without waiting too long, the door opened, Xiaowu walked out from inside. She still wore clothing like yesterday's, apart from slightly pale complexion, looked to already be without anything left unsettled. Seeing her appear, Tang-san immediately let out a breath. "Xiaowu, are you a bit better?" Xiaowu gestured to Tang-san to keep silent. "Rongrong is still cultivating, don't disturb her. We can go aside to talk." For some reason, Tang-san felt today's Xiaowu's expression looked somewhat different. As to where a change had actually occurred, he himself also could not say. Part 2. Originally, Xiaowu already woke up from unconsciousness in the middle of the night. Ning Rongrong feared something might be wrong with her, and continuously kept watch at her side. Waiting until she woke up, afterwards telling her about what happened yesterday. Tang-san rubbed Xiaowu's head, saying, "Yesterday all was my fault, not protecting you well." Xiaowu shook her head, sticking out her cute pink little tongue. "It's that difficult to deal with, teacher, how could I blame you? Here truly is different from knitting. Apparently everyone is very powerful. Fortunately, no spirit DOULUO level power appeared." Tang-san somewhat curious said. "How do you know there is no spirit DOULUO level spirit master in the academy? Teacher Zhao only was vice chairman, perhaps, the dean is spirit DOULUO level." Xiaowu was stunned a moment, somewhat glossing over it said. "I'm guessing. After all, how would a spirit DOULUO possibly appear at such a small tranquil place?" Tang-san did not doubt it, also without asking more, pulled Xiao Wu's soft hand, saying, "Let's go find something to eat. Probably you also are hungry." "Good, I am." Xiao Wu nodded. Right now she already again recovered that past lively appearance, taking the initiative to drag Tang San's arm. The two newcomers, yesterday also all because of passing out from the fight, did not find out a bit regarding Shrek Academy. Helplessly, they could only look for where kitchen smoke rose, trying to find a place with food. The village was not at all large. Walking, they unwittingly already walked out of Shrek Academy's limits. Shrek Academy's side was very peaceful, but the villagers on the other side were already bustling, working at sunrise. This was common peasants' custom. They needed to plow the fields to support their families. As the academy's breakfast was at some unknown place, Tang San already decided to first go to the village to buy a bit of food to allay his and Xiao Wu's hunger. The two just planned to find a peasant family to buy food from, seeing not far ahead two people, one man and one woman, argue about something. Those young man and woman looked to be not old. The girl appeared 14 or 15 years old, ordinary appearance, but full of youthful vigor, wearing plain peasant clothing, should be a village girl from the village. The youngster she was arguing with looked to be even a bit younger, age seemingly not far from Tang San and Xiao Wu, build not tall, although the entire person was chubby, he gave people a kind of sturdy feeling. Short hair, small eyes, face healthy and plump, looking like also had somewhat cute feeling. Most interesting was, on his lip was two small mustaches, apparently just having started growing, looking like more like two rat whiskers. The young lady looked at the little fatty, eyes revealing a somewhat fearful expression. "Ma Hung-jun too, you hereafter mustn't come look for me again. I can't be together with you," the little fatty said in an affected manner of speaking. "Kui Hua 3, am I not good to you? Why must we break up?" Tang San and Xiao Wu shared a look, the pair both seeing a smiling expression in the other's eyes. This child still indeed had puppy love, so young, speaking about breaking up and so on. The pair could not help but pause their steps, looking engrossed to the side. Kui Hua's face suddenly reddened. "You are very good to me, but I really can't endure you. We are unsuitable, you still will find other people. And also, I compared to you am several years older. Please, hereafter do not again look for me," the little fatty Ma Hung-jun angrily said. "What, calling me unbearable? I truly do not understand what you these women think. Breaking up will still do, first come with me again, I will break up with you. Otherwise, no way." While speaking, the little fatty raised his hand to pull that young lady Kui Hua. Kui Hua, like a panicked little rabbit, hastily backed away, but that little fatty's speed was very quick, still grabbed her hand. Kui Hua pleading said, "No, you mustn't. Let me go. In the end, aren't you a man, ah?" Xiao Wu did not continue watching, jumping out with one step. "Stop!" The little fatty and Kui Hua were simultaneously startled, looking at her. Fatty's little eyes blinked, mouse whiskers on the lip trembling several times, in the little eyes a splendid light released. "A fine beautiful girl. Why, you want to replace her as my girlfriend? Done, no problem. I approve." Farting 4. Xiao Wu was angry, one foot kicked at the hand holding Kui Hua, kicking his hand open. "You little hoodlum. So young, not following good examples. In the full light of day, and you still think you can snatch a daughter." Hearing Xiao Wu say this, the little fatty's expression immediately dropped. "This is my matter, you stop meddling in other people's business. Since you are not demanding to be my woman, fuck off. You." Xiao Wu looked about to punch him, but Tang San appeared in front of her. "You are called Ma Hung-jun, right? Please don't again provoke this young woman." Having had yesterday's lesson, Tang San could not wish to let Xiao Wu randomly fight. And also he also vaguely saw, this little fatty before his eyes did not at all appear simple. Ma Hung-jun snorted disdainfully. "What creature do you count as, also dare manage your father's 5 business. Looking for unhappiness. Tang San's expression dropped. You are whose father? Ma Hongzhen's rat whiskers moved. Who is meddling? I am whose father. Tang San moved. Were his temper again better, he still could not let people insult him like this. Using ghost shadow perplexing track, 1 foot kicking the little fatty in the stomach. This kick of his contained power yet did not release it. Control unusually clever. If the little fatty only was an ordinary person, at most he still would only kick him to fall over. If he had some special capability, then, the power of this kick of Tang San's still could burst forth at any time. Indeed, like Tang San guessed, the little fatty was not at all so simple. Seeing Tang San's kick coming, without the slightest hesitation came to meet it, both fists set up before his body, blocking towards Tang San's kick. On the body glittered faint purple light, clearly spirit power fluctuations. Tang San's kick suddenly halted in midair, changing from a kick to a stomp, stomping at the fatty's abdomen. The fatty's adaptability speed was also very quick. Both set up fists simultaneously swinging down, smashing at Tang San's foot. Part 3. With a muffled pang sound, Tang San withdrew his leg. Fatty also receiving the kick fell back several steps. The 2 people unexpectedly were matched with not much difference. Fatty's spirit power seemed to only be a little bit short of Tang San's, that's all. Fatty was stunned a moment. Originally you also are a spirit master. No wonder you dare to meddle in others' business. I'll let you increase your knowledge, what is called strength. While speaking, Fatty shouted. Phoenix body enhancement. Hearing this one word Phoenix, Tang San and Xiaowu's hearts simultaneously shivered. Among beast spirits, several kinds were especially powerful. Among these one kind was the Phoenix. Phoenix was also called 7-color bird. Phoenix spirit could not only make the host able to fly, but also still bestowed attacks with powerful fire attributes. Among power battle type spirits it was top class. Purple light rushed out from the little fatty's body, his short hair abruptly became long, moreover gathering in the center, turning into a kind of Mohican style. Wings did not appear, but that purple radiance appeared outside the body, immediately releasing an intense heat. 2 yellow spirit rings simultaneously appeared from under his feet. On the bare thick and solid outer arms spread long feathers. Both hands also taking the shape of claws. Seeing his appearance, Xiaowu burst into giggles. Such a plump phoenix? However I feel he's like a free-range chicken. Ma Hongzhen's current appearance indeed looked rather hilarious. Plump body, wearing long red and purple feathers on his arms, erect hair. If speaking of him as a phoenix, maybe truly nobody would be convinced, even more resembling a fat hen. Ma Hongzhen, like being rubbed the wrong way, was angry and agitated. You say who is a free-range chicken? Raising both hands, on his body the first spirit ring abruptly shone, suddenly spreading his mouth, a thin red and purple flame spouted out in Xiaowu's direction. High heat made the air distort. The purple and red flame it appeared was not at all wild, jetting out in the air like a string of fire. Careful! Tang San's right hand waved, a blue long vine rolled around Xiaowu's soft and slender waist, pulling her horizontally to his side, staying out of Ma Hongzhen's flame jet. But Ma Hongzhen clearly did not intend to let them off like that. The flame in his mouth maintained a 5-meter combustion length without going out, coming sideways towards Xiaowu's body, just as if it was a 5 meters long fire weapon. Tang San pulled Xiaowu's hand to retreat at flying speed. Simultaneously several blue-silver grass already rapidly spread out from him. By means of the brief observation, he already discovered that flame of Ma Hongzhen's should be unusually high temperature, but had a weak point. Its attacking distance only was 5 meters. Only must restrict his movements. Dealing with him would not at all be challenging. As expected, just as Ma Hongzhen thought to pursue an attack, he only felt underfoot a deadlock, both legs already firmly twisted around by blue-silver grass, a burst of intense stinging pain from his legs, immediately followed by a burst of paralyzed feeling. Ma Hongzhen was startled, bowing his head to see the twisting blue-silver grass. Immediately without the slightest hesitation starting his second spirit ring ability. With a pang sound, fierce purple flame abruptly ignited from his body, Ma Hongzhen's plump body like that erupted in a flash, abruptly spreading outward, as the blue-silver grass binding his body came into contact with that purple flame, it immediately combusted violently, in an eye blink becoming ashes. Seeing this scene, Tang San could not help but be shocked. He clearly felt, Ma Hongzhen's spirit was apparently precisely his spirit's natural enemy. Although blue-silver grass under the two spirit rings effect became extremely tough, as a plant, at least right now, fire still was extremely fearsome. Ma Hongzhen with the whole body burning with purple flame appeared increasingly mighty, in his eyes erupted an angry flame, with big strides rushing straight towards Tang San and Xiao Wu, in his mouth the spouting flame, was like a fire spirit incarnate. My turn. No longer held by Tang San, Xiao Wu already leapt out. Fluffy ears trembling slightly at her rapid movement, whole body flourishing with red light, spirit power completely released. Tang San's both hands 10 fingers slightly moved rhythmically once, in his hands already fastened a number of hidden weapons, both eyes with a purple luster, in a short time of discovering Xiao Wu meeting danger, then he immediately would act without the slightest hesitation. Although the spirit of this fatty before him was very strong, by previously coming into contact Tang San knew, his spirit power was still a bit short of his own. Impossible to like Zhao Wuji obstruct his hidden weapons. Ma Hongzhen saw Xiao Wu coming at him, exactly what he wanted, with no trace of politeness a mouthful of flaming wire spouted out, the flaming wire in the air cutting out a circle, blocking off Xiao Wu's path forward. Ma Hongzhen thought to himself, "Eo a dead girl, dare to call me a free-range chicken, not changing your complexion a bit, or I your father am not called Evil Fire Phoenix 6. However, her long outstanding beauty, still is must not burn it spoiled as well." While thinking, his flame jet became a little bit weaker, enough to injure, but unlikely to be fatal. As the purple flame temperature dropped, Xiao Wu naturally felt it. "Is this fatty starting of leniently? Fine, then I will also be a bit soft to you." Ma Hongzhen believed Xiao Wu must be injured when his first spirit ring ability Phoenix Fire Wire 7 hit, but suddenly, in midair Xiao Wu's body in a flash curled up, simultaneously twisting once in the air light as a feather, flexible body seemingly already breaking through the limits of the human body, threading past a small crack in his flaming wire block. Body once again extending, already reaching Ma Hongzhen's side. Xiao Wu had what strength? Tang San under circumstances where not employing hidden weapons at most could only ensure a draw with her, that's all, he still could not let her near his body. Although Ma Hongzhen's second spirit ring ability Bathing Fire Phoenix 8 was an omnidirectional defensive and offensive ability, Xiao Wu was already covered by her own spirit power. For a short time withstanding it was by no means an issue. As Tang San watched Xiao Wu reach Ma Hongzhen's side, the hidden weapons in his hands were already returned to 24 moonlit bridges. This fight was already without any suspense. Part 4. Sure enough, Xiao Wu did not give Ma Hongzhen any opportunity to respond. Figure flipping, she already reached his back, both hands bracing, both feet in a flash swinging up, directly pressing on either side of Ma Hongzhen's neck. The first spirit ring ability Waist Bow 9, launched. Xiao Wu's entire body at once was like an arcing bow, the first spirit ring's light in a flash covering her whole body, immediately following, her body like a full moon bow suddenly emitting force, abruptly through Ma Hongzhen's body. Waist Bow's spirit ability effect, momentarily boost one's waist strength by 100%, increasing the body's toughness by 50%. After 10 ranks spirit power, each additional rank, increases the effect when using waist bow by 1%. In other words, right now after Xiao Wu launched waist bow, she was able to increase waist strength 119%. Momentarily erupting flexibility sufficient to throw any physical strength type opponent under 50th rank spirit power. Of course, although waist bow was good, the prerequisite was to necessarily get close to the enemy to be able to bring out its effect. Otherwise, only having waist strength was useless. Very difficult to imagine, Xiao Wu's waist still inferior to Ma Hongzhun thigh in thickness was capable of emitting this kind of immense power. Considering Ma Hongzhun's reduced own flame, Xiao Wu could also be considered as starting off leniently, certainly did not directly smash Ma Hongzhun's body towards the ground, but threw him into the air, giving him control of his body for the remaining time. However, she clearly was overestimating Ma Hongzhun's own body's control. This fatty in midair, hands dancing and feet tripping, flipped several times, finally still dropping to the ground on his ass, falling confused. "Don't fight, please don't fight." To the side Kuihua, the young woman suddenly opened her mouth, with quick steps running towards Ma Hongzhun. The flame on Ma Hongzhun's body had also been extinguished by being thrown down, his entire person faint with blurring vision, with difficulty crawling up from the ground. Suihua helped Ma Hongzhun pat the soil from his body. "How are you?" Ma Hongzhun with a snort, said. "Still unable to die? Little rabbit, come again." Xiao Wu suddenly leapt in place, with two suuu sounds, throwing out the shoes on her feet. Although her spirit power held back the majority of Ma Hongzhun's second spirit ability, Bathing Fire Phoenix effect, pressing on Ma Hongzhun's neck with her feet, her shoes still were affected by that purple and red flame. Making Xiao Wu somewhat shocked was, that purple-red flame unexpectedly had a kind of sticky feeling, after contact it unexpectedly would not stop burning. Not able to put it down, she could only throw out her shoes, with a pair of bare fair little feet standing in place. "Miss Kuihua, you are..." Xiao Wu looked at Kuihua, appearing deeply concerned with Ma Hongzhun, and could not help but be somewhat unable to make sense of the matter. Was not this fatty previously bullying her? Why now again? Kuihua imploring said. "You don't fight. Actually, Hongzhun is a good man, only we are unsuitable, that's all. Therefore I could only break up with him. You go, I will speak clearly with him." Ma Hongzhun angrily said. "You do not meddle in my affairs, get lost." Speaking, he pushed away Kuihua and once again rushed towards Xiao Wu, only since he was worried to injure Kuihua, he did not once again use the second spirit ring ability. Just at this time, an astonished voice rose. "Tang-san, fatty, what are you up to?" Tang-san and Ma Hongzhun simultaneously turned to look in the direction of the voice, only saw a wearing white clothes, hair combed exceedingly neatly daimyo just walking in their direction. Xiao Wu snorted. "How is it? You ask him. That fatty in broad daylight bullied a girl, we seeing it only went, had to teach him a lesson." The stern daimyo couldn't help but laughing. "Xiao Wu, I think you are misunderstanding. Miss Kuihua, you also can't endure him." Kuihua blushed, nodding, turning to escape. This time, Ma Hongzhun also did not again stop her, only had a crumbling expression. Tang-san walked to Daimyo-bai's side, unconvinced, asking. "In the end, what is going on here?" Daimyo-bai looked towards Fatty, saying. "Will you say it yourself, or should I do it for you?" Ma Hongzhun shot Daimyo-bai a glance, lowering his head, saying. "You say it." Daimyo-bai laughed out loud. "What? Stiff Fatty, you also can be embarrassed? Fine, I will tell them for you." Speaking, he turned to Tang-san and Xiao Wu, saying. "Remember I previously told you, the academy including me altogether only has 3 students." Tang-san immediately understood. "You are saying, he is?" Daimyo-bai said with a nod. "Yes, Fatty is that 3rd person. Also was before you the last person to enter the academy. The matter just now, although you without personally seeing, still could guess. Actually, this also cannot be blamed on Fatty, you can only blame his that free-range chicken spirit. Farting, your spirit can be free-range chicken, your father's spirit is phoenix. Even if your father's ancestors all had chicken, mine still is phoenix. Haven't you heard, a grass nest can also have a golden phoenix?" Ma Hongzhun snappily said. The smiling expression on Daimyo Bai's face reduced. Phoenix, fine, it counts as Phoenix. Tang-san, this spirit of fatties is very monstrous. The dean said, his spirit is a variant spirit. Variant spirit? Which spirits gave rise to this variation? Tang-san questioned closely. Regarding variant spirits, he had heard Grandmaster speak at length. When spirits vary, there only were two kinds of circumstances. One kind was becoming extremely formidable, the other kind of circumstance was crippling. Grandmaster himself received a bitter variation. But before him this Ma Hung-jun's spirit, clearly was classified as the positive variation type. Daimyo Bai said, I'm not the one to talk to, including to Ma Hung-jun himself, it's all currently unknown. In that village, all people's spirits are basically a type of poultry without attack power. I still do not know what's going on, but 3 years ago the dean, after discovering him in the village, brought him back. His age should with you be about the same. As a result of spirit variation, Fatty possesses a very powerful fire capability. This kind of flame also is exceptionally monstrous. Not only is it extremely high temperature, but it also has very powerful adhering properties, very difficult to extinguish. The dean said, his spirit variation later, truly has the possibility of become a phoenix. But, this spirit of his also has an immense defect. Although variation brought large spirit power, simultaneously it also created a certain effect in his body, making him regarding male-female relations that respects capability become extremely vigorous, and also with appetite impulses that are tenfold that of an ordinary person. If only suppressed and not conducted, then, at any time it's possible this evil fire phoenix would explode and die. Ma Hung-jun hastily added. Evil fire does not stop raising pressure. 1. This is an author's note from Ra. Included for completeness. 2. A copyright A degree A cent AAA, horse red handsome. 3. A plus or minus, jade flower. 4. Breaking wind and talking nonsense are natural synonyms. While feces is only vulgar, it can actually have uses. Farts are entirely without merit. 5. He refers to himself as AAAANAA, an excessively arrogant way to refer to oneself. Something like I'm your daddy baked into a formal personal pronoun. 6. A copyright A with circumflex AAAANA A degree. 7. A degree A degree A. 8. A degree. 9. A degree A 1/4 A E.